Nelsonville residents could be stuck making a long walk to vote. A chickenpox outbreak in Kentucky led to a surprising revelation from its governor. And in sports, Bobcat Wrestling is in the midst of the NCAA wrestling tournament. Find out who is moving on. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Taylor Bruck. Thanks for joining us. As reported yesterday, the Athens County Board of Elections voted to consolidate 9 voting precincts. For Nelsonville, it would mean combining 4 precincts into one location.
Personally, I oppose it because I don't drive. I have really bad eyes. It will take me 40 minutes to walk up there, 40 minutes to walk back. I don't know how long it would take to vote, but that's on a good day.
The Board of Elections claimed that the decision was to assure that no votes were lost. They will re-examine the decision in May. A chickenpox outbreak in North Kentucky led to the governor of Kentucky weighing in on vaccinations. Governor Matt Bevin was on a local radio show Tuesday where he revealed he deliberately exposed his own kids to chickenpox. In the radio interview, Bevin said he made sure his children got the illness by bringing them around a neighbor who had it. Bevin said, quote, "They were miserable for a few days and they all turned out fine." He also said he doesn't condemn parents who choose to vaccinate and that parents who believe vaccinations are the best choice should go ahead and do it. But Bevin said the federal government should not force vaccinations upon people. Sports wagering will remain offline at 2 West Virginia casinos at the start of the NCAA tournament. The temporary closing of 2 sports books is due to an ongoing contractual dispute between the company's management service provider and a technology vendor. The casinos affected are the North Mardi Gras Casino in Nitro and the Wheeling Island Hotel and Casino. Williamstown High School was presented the Jennings Randolph Award yesterday for having 100% voter registration of eligible students. The school was one of just 20 in the state of West Virginia to receive the award. Secretary of State Mac Warner presented the award. West Virginia has reached a $3.2 million settlement with 2 drug manufacturers over the marketing of the prescription blood thinner Plavix. The marketing companies, Bristol Myers Squibb Company and Sanofi Aventis, were accused of deception by marketing Plavix as superior to aspirin with a much higher price. Evidence shows that Plavix had no better outcome than aspirin for certain uses. An Ohio police officer pleaded not guilty to charges of forcing women to have sex with him under the threat of an arrest. Former Columbus police officer Andrew Mitchell also pleaded not guilty Thursday to charges of witness tampering and lying to federal agents. Mitchell is being held without bond because he is seen as a flight risk. His attorney, Mark Collins, said that isn't true and is challenging the no bond order. Governor Mike DeWine's proposed budget includes funding to set up a state narcotics intelligence center to combat the opioid epidemic. The center would consist of units in Cleveland and Columbus and would collect and analyze data from the 40-plus drug task forces. The center has budgeted $3.25 million in funding. An additional $2.5 million is also requested to fund drug task forces. Another wrongful death lawsuit has been filed against a Columbus doctor. The newest lawsuit brings the total to 26 against Dr. William Husel. The lawsuit alleges that he ordered outsized fentanyl doses for Ryan Hayes in April 2017 and Brandy McDonald in January 2018. Columbus area Mount Carmel Health System found that Husel ordered potentially fatal drug doses for 29 patients over several years. It says that 5 of those patients may have had a chance to improve their conditions with treatment. Husel's lawyers denies that he intentionally caused the patients' deaths.
Severe Weather Awareness Week is something many of you do not know, but it is this week, and we will talk about the importance of watches and warnings in this package right now.
When it comes to severe weather, most people don't think much of it, especially here in southeastern Ohio.
Don't worry about it as long as I'm inside.
The National Weather Service is trying to combat this with Severe Weather Awareness Week. The goal of Severe Weather Awareness Week, according to the National Weather Service, is to provide the public with severe weather safety tips to help residents survive deadly storms. Among many other things, the main activity the state of Ohio participates in during this week is the statewide tornado drill.
This is a test tornado warning.
Usually, people will follow direction well during this drill, but what happens when an actual watch or warning is issued, and what defines both a watch or a warning? Dr. Jana Hauser, a meteorology professor and severe weather research specialist at Ohio University, explains.
So a watch means that the conditions for that particular day are such that a severe weather event is possible.
We asked students across Ohio University what they thought a watch was.
Well, weather watch, I'd probably say when the weather station is like, hey, look out for this, there's a possible tornado watch going on.
Okay, a weather watch is an alert or an advisory sent out to a certain area to inform people that dangerous weather might be coming.
A watch is when conditions are favorable for whatever's happening.
The end goal of watches and warnings are to take action once they are issued. We asked Dr. Hauser about action steps to take during warnings.
And if you're outside, seek shelter in a sturdy enclosed structure.
Alarmingly, most students didn't know what to do during a watch or warning. This is the problem Severe Weather Awareness Week is trying to eliminate, so people actually do think much of severe weather.
And again, it is alarming that most students did not know what to do during Severe Weather Awareness Week. In similar cases where people didn't know what to do during warnings were issued, lots of people died. In fact, a couple of years ago in 2011, over 200 people died in the state of Alabama just because they didn't know what to do during warnings. So it's very important. You need to know what to do during warnings. So make sure if there's a tornado warning issued, you need to get into a sturdy structure, not a mobile home or vehicle. Interior room on the lowest level if you don't have a basement. If you do have a basement, of course, get into that basement. It's just very important. It could be life-saving.
Yeah, Nicholas, I don't think a lot of people realize the importance of watches and warnings, so I'm happy you're bringing light to it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Do you see any bad weather coming up?
Fortunately, no. In fact, it's going to be a quite pleasant weekend as we take a look at the temperatures across the area right now. We'll start with 29 in Columbus, 31 in Newark, 30 in New Lexington. It became quite chilly after a cold front moved through today. Under mainly cloudy skies, we had some rain earlier on in the morning. Right now in Athens, 33 degrees. Humidity is 52%. The barometric pressure is 30.02 and falling, and the winds are northwest at 0 to 5 miles an hour. This is not a current map, but we do have the highlights for the next couple of days, which are a weekend warm-up. The rain will clear out, and we could see a taste of spring going into next week. We'll talk all about that coming up on my full forecast in the next couple of minutes.
Thank you, Nicholas. So the NCAA Wrestling Championship is in full swing, and Ohio has 4 wrestlers competing in the tournament. We were supposed to have Rachel Cherry live in Pittsburgh, but unfortunately due to technical difficulties, that cannot happen. So I'm going to read what's going on instead. So it was a rough start for the Bobcats. The team went 1-3 in the first session, and they are tied for 40th in the team race. Margot Guillen kicked it off for Ohio with a hard-fought match, keeping it close until the third period. However, he lost 8-2 to the 10th seed Roman Bravo, young from Penn State. Guillen now faces Kodai Russell from Appalachian State. This is good news for Guillen since he has pinned Russell earlier this year. Cam Kelly already locked his first win of the tournament. The 141-pounder defeated A.C. Headley. It came down to the final seconds of the third period where Kelly was able to get a takedown. Kelly's next match is a bit tougher. He faces returning All-American and MAC champion Jaden Ehrman. The last time they wrestled, it was 2016 and Ehrman pinned Kelly. Zach Carson will be going against someone he hasn't wrestled after losing in the first round. At 157 pounds, Carson lost 7-1 to Ohio State's Keyshawn Hayes. Now Carson is in wrestlebacks and will go against Dan Reed from Columbia. Zach Parker also struggled in the first round. The heavyweight lost by technical fall to the third seed, Gable Stevenson. Parker now has to wrestle in a consolation pigtail. He faces Purdue's Jacob Avon. In 2016, Parker won 11-7 against Avon. Session 2 will start in around 20 minutes. You can keep up with the Bobcats by following me on Twitter. Well, not me, actually, but at Rachel Terry, at @1RachelTerry, or you can go to WOUB.org. I've reported for Rachel. Thanks for the package. So President Trump made a stop in Ohio, but what he said about a late senator is making the headlines. And a major producer of airlines is under investigation. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
Is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
While speaking in Lima, Ohio, President Trump continued to attack late Senator John McCain. President Trump appeared to be angered that the late senator did not thank him for planning his funeral for him.
I endorsed him at his request, and I gave him the kind of funeral that he wanted, which as president I had to approve. I don't care about this. I didn't get thank you. That's okay. Not my kind of guy, but some people like him, and I think that's great.
The president's comments Wednesday were the latest in a series of swipes against McCain. Last weekend, Trump blasted the late senator on Twitter over various issues, including his vote against repealing Obamacare. He also attacked McCain's performance at the U.S. Naval Academy. One of the biggest aircraft manufacturers is under the microscope. The Boeing company has been subpoenaed by the U.S. Justice Department. This comes after 2 Boeing planes crashed in similar fashion within the past 5 months. John Lawrence reports.
Boeing is being probed.
This is no small potatoes. Enormous amounts of taxpayer money that could be spent on other things.
The Justice Department is investigating Boeing's certification and marketing for its 737 MAX planes. 2 have crashed since October. The more recent was Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 earlier this month.
We're united with our airline customers, international regulators, and government authorities in our efforts to support the most recent investigation, understand the facts of what happened, and help prevent future tragedies.
But sources briefed on the matter say the DOJ's criminal investigation started after the October crash of a Lion Air flight in Indonesia.
What happens, in fact, is that the measures taken by Boeing after the first accident were not enough to avoid the second accident.
Analysts say insufficient training was likely a factor.
It must have been just horrifying in the cockpit for these professionals. I mean, it's been stated, well, it should have been a memory item. Well, clearly it wasn't.
Also, a separate investigation is looking into whether Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan violated ethics rules by boosting products from Boeing, his former employer. He denies the claim.
If that is true, he needs to be fired, and we need to find out why this happened.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Officials from the NTSB, Department of Transportation Inspection General, and the FAA are set to speak at a Senate hearing on air travel safety next week. Let's go to weather for the teas.
Weather-wise, we do have some colder weather coming in for tomorrow, but a big warm-up is in store for next week. We'll talk all about that coming up on my full forecast, but first, a look at stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-feature teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
It was a cloudy and very gloomy day outside today. These graphics aren't correct, but I'm going to go off from what I remember at least. So it's in the upper 40s right now in Athens. The rain showers we saw this morning have moved out of the area. Humidity is at 52%. The pressure is at 30.02 inches and falling. All across the area, temperatures are in the middle and upper 40s, pretty much all under mainly cloudy skies. We did see some rain down south in Ironton as I was putting together the temperature map. The rain has since moved out, but it is mainly cloudy all across the area. Again, these are not correct, but this is what I'm just going to go through. Anyway, so current view of the jet stream, we are under predominantly zonal flow, which means we're not seeing typically anything in the much. We had small area of low pressure come through due to a shortwave trough at the 700 millibar level, which means it's a low level disturbance kind of stirring up a low pressure. That brought in a couple of rain showers this morning. That has since moved out of the area, and that will usher in some high pressure on Friday night. It will be quite a pleasant night for Friday, albeit a little chilly as a trough of low pressure in the jet stream, which is going to bring down much cooler temperatures, is going to come in. But lows on Friday night should be in the middle and upper 20s. But we'll get you through tonight first. So tonight, we're going to take you down into the middle and upper 30s. Rain showers will move out, and actually the clouds will clear out as well. And lows should be at about 36 here in Athens. Elsewhere, middle and upper 30s could get as warm as 42 down in Ironton, but generally in the middle and upper 30s pretty much wherever you go. Now tomorrow, again, as I said, it's going to be a cooler day because of that cold front that came through today. And we're going to only warm you up into the lower 40s. Rain showers will be possible earlier on in the morning and into the early afternoon, but those will clear out, and the clouds will clear out as well. And that will make it quite chilly on Friday night because usually during the nights you need clear skies to get much cooler temperatures to keep that outgoing, to keep the heat coming out of the earth and instead of the clouds, which do trap the heat in. So it's going to be quite chilly on Friday night, again into the middle 20s. Now Saturday is going to be a very pleasant day. It's going to be mainly sunny with highs in the middle and lower 50s. Just a gorgeous day on Saturday. And a quick plug here, if you're doing anything on Saturday, if you don't have any plans, come to the OU Meteorology Symposium from 11 to 6 p.m. in Walter Hall. It's free and open to the public. All you have to do is RSVP. You can just look up on Google and you should get a link. So the extended forecast, it will warm up into the upper 50s next week. It'll be a beautiful Thursday on Saturday, Taylor, so that's something you can really look forward to next week.
Great memory. Thank you, Nick. If you suffer from seasonal allergies, you might not be altogether excited about spring being here. But in today's Health Minute, Meredith Wood gives you some tips that might make you feel a little bit better this year.
Ah, spring. When the snow melts, the days become longer, and the flowers are in bloom. And the pollen. All the pollen. According to the CDC, more than 50 million Americans suffer from allergies, and many of those are considered seasonal. In the spring, it starts with pollen released from the trees, followed by grass later in the season. Those who suffer from seasonal allergies face an onslaught of symptoms such as sneezing, stuffy nose, itchy nose, watery eyes, and those are just to name a few. If you're one of the millions that go through this every year, there are a few things you can do to ease the discomfort. Check the pollen count in your area. Several weather apps will provide that information on a daily basis. When the pollen is high, limit your exposure by staying inside and keeping windows closed. Change out the air filters in your home frequently and make sure you are using HEPA filters. Wash your hair before going to bed. If you've been doing things outside, toss those clothes in the laundry when you get back in. And don't forget to talk to your doctor about taking a daily allergy medication, including a nasal spray. For today's Health Minute, I'm Meredith Wood.
Good evening, News Watchers. Let's talk sports, shall we? Coming up, Ohio hockey is headed to the national championships. Hear from some of them about what we can all expect. An Ohio women's basketball team has a postseason game of their own tonight, and it's a big one. Find out what record can be broken when Newswatch returns. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
Welcome in, Hardwood fans. Now, as you know, we've already aired our season finale where you see all these great people behind me who made our all-hero and all-future teams. But that doesn't mean our coverage stops. There are still a lot of teams in the playoffs and games left to be played. So if you want to stay up to date with all that and all the other TVC action, then go follow our social media. Like us on Facebook, add us on Snapchat, and follow us on Twitter. And always remember to be heroic.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back, News Watchers. I'm Blake Baker. The sports world is packed with postseason play right now. Wrestling is taking place in Pittsburgh, but Ohio's women's team is a lot closer to home for their postseason game tonight. Ohio was notably snubbed from the NCAA tournament, but they face a pretty familiar foe in the first round of the WNIT. The Cats face High Point tonight, a team they defeated in each of the past 2 seasons. Head coach Bob Bolden said he remembers High Point's tenacious defense and says his ladies are excited to play. It's not the big dance, but the WNIT presents the Cats with a chance to break a record, a chance they aren't taking lightly.
One win away from a school record of wins, so that's something that excites us, and then to see how far we can push that number. And even, as you get into the second, third, and fourth rounds, now you start thinking about winning the WNIT, and I think that would be something that would be pretty special. So we're going to try like crazy.
Tip-off for that game is scheduled for 7 o'clock right after this show from the friendly confines of the Combo. Now, another team deep in postseason play is Ohio hockey. The Cats traveled to Dallas today for the ACHA National Championships. Ohio's won it 4 times in its history. To make it 5, it'll take excitement and execution.
Our team won't quit. Outwork, outwill, outcompete. We're a team that when we play well and we're all on the same page, that we're very difficult to beat.
It's good to be back. So, preparing. We're just getting excited for it. It's always fun whenever you're in ring season. So, it's what we play all year for.
Now, Coach Hogan is stepping down after the season, so this tournament will be the last one he coaches at Ohio. Whatever the result, Hogan will leave behind a strong legacy with the Bobcats.
Some real good teams here. He's brought in some real good players. He just loves Ohio hockey. He just loves it. Every day he's here. He loves to be here. He's never moping around or anything. He's just really excited and brings the energy to practice and games every day. I think he'll be remembered for that energy and that passion that he brought.
Ohio's first match is tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. against UNLV. Ohio baseball will worry about the postseason in a couple months. For now, the Bobcats are gunning for their first home win. Now, they've only played one home game, and that was Tuesday, but they'll host Central Michigan this weekend to open MAC play as well. Both Diamonds will see some action this weekend as Ohio softball will also play at home for the first time this season. The Cats host Bowling Green on the softball diamond tomorrow. The second day of spring today brought some unfavorable weather, so it's a great day to stay in and watch the first day of March Madness. Some of my colleagues call it the best day in sports each year. Think what you want, but there's no denying the madness starts day one. Here are the games that finished up before 6 o'clock today. The first game of the tournament also brought the first upset with Minnesota over Louisville. Auburn stayed alive with a wild finish. New Mexico State missed the game winner. Now, 3 years ago, Michigan State got upset by a 15 seed. Spartans avoided it this time around with a late run. In Blake's Take this week, my bracket will crumble really soon. Now, a lot of basketball tonight, but the buzzer sounds on our sports segment with that. Taylor, close us out.
Thank you, Blake. The American Kennel Club Registry just released the most popular dog breeds of 2018, and the Labrador Retriever continues to be the top dog in the U.S. The beloved Lab is #1 for the 28th year in a row. Longtime breeders say these dogs are so sought after because of their versatility, stable temperament, friendliness, trainability, and athleticism, to name a few. Let's head over to Nicholas for a last look at the weather.
Thanks, Taylor. Tomorrow's high should be in the lower and middle 40s. It will be quite chillier tomorrow than it was today as that cold front came through today. We should have some rain showers early on in the morning, snow showers up along I-70 and east of I-77 as well. And looking at the rest of the extended forecast, we should see highs pretty great weekend, actually. Saturday will be in the lower 50s with sunshine, just a gorgeous day on Saturday. 59 on Sunday with mainly sunny skies as well. And a nice next week. Next Thursday, we could see highs in the upper 60s. So a great taste of spring headed our way. Taylor.
Thank you, Nicholas. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Taylor Bruck. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.